Hey, what's happening YouTube? Here I am with another of my videos, and today I have a Honda Prelude and I'm gonna paint it. I wanted to show you guys some preparation I'm gonna do up to this car, materials I'm using, and yeah, so yep. Okay, I want you guys to follow me with this process on this old school car. Like I said, I'm gonna be painting it. I'm gonna be using single stage, and I'm gonna paint over what's on the car. I know for the right way to do it is not really the right way to do it, because you will need to put like some sealer, I mean, for the car before you put paint on the car. But like I said, this is just a cheap paint job, and yeah, as you guys can see, there's rust, there's the original like epoxy primer or the primer that they use from factory, and this car was resprayed once. So there's the original paint and then a full layer of a different paint that they put over the car. And so yeah, so what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be hitting it with a 320 grit and a DA. I'm going to be sanding the whole car. I'm going to be leaving a lot of the trim, but first I'm going to be using 180. 180, I'm going to be like sanding areas like this, just like it, to blend it better, get rid of that like oxidation. Some like this, you know, but obviously it has to be like with a better fade. Anyways, but so 180, that's what I'm going to be doing for right now, and I just want you guys to follow, right? Alright guys, so as you guys can see right here, there's like all these like paint chips and stuff. You guys can see there's a little bit of rust on some of them, and you can see the different layers. So you guys can see they didn't spray this car the right way. They didn't tape anything or anything like that. They didn't sand the piece on the inside. So as you guys can see, the paint is peeling off. Before I even start like working on the car, I power washed the whole car to get rid of all the dirt and the cracks and all that stuff, because obviously you don't want that when you're spraying. All the air will blow all that out and will end up on your paint. So right now, this is what we have. This is what I'm trying to fix. I have a 180 grit, and this is how we're just gonna work it. You see that? It's gone. Now it's nice. 180. I can come back and do 320, and then I'll be doing a little bit of primer just with the spray paint. I'll be doing it with the spray can, just this little area. And like that, the rest of the areas are the same, and then we'll after that we'll be starting to do the 320 on the outside. This is how I start my process. First, all right, the first thing I do before I start painting the cars, I power wash the cars really good to get rid of all the dirt in between the cracks and, you know, all those areas, so that way when you spray, that stuff doesn't blow away with the air from the gun. So yeah, so power wash first, really good, and then second thing, I start taking like I say, my 180 paper, and that's how I start doing all these things. So I start like doing all those kind of details first, and I just leave what will be the sanding and the whole panel afterwards. Okay, so let's do that. We always wanted to protect like chrome pieces, like trim pieces, so we tape that piece so that way when you're sanding, you're not scratching it. So I got in there. Car's still wet from when I washed it. So it won't be the best thing to do right now. You don't want to be going to the bare metal when it's wet. So I'm just gonna stop there, and I'm just gonna keep going in areas where it's not wet. Okay. Now I have a 180 in a block. I'm going to be like trying to get rid of all the high spots by hand. Car spray is small, and I don't want to have a lot of noise going on. It's kind of peaceful and quiet. Feels pretty good. Pretty good. I'm gonna use the DA, and the DA will be a lot more louder. I'm gonna try to do the most heaviest part of the job by hand, and the DA just to like quick do all the flat panels. Alright guys, and after all day of been sanding and prepping this car, it's pretty much all sanded down with 320. I fixed some like little scratches and like little dents, nothing like major. It's just gonna be a pretty much a respray. So this is where we at. pick up the car from the ground because the car is sitting too low, and if I'm gonna be painting too low, because I'm gonna be painting here, what can happen, the air from the gun can lift up a lot of like dirt from the bottom and it can stick to the car. And also I don't want to spray my my floor, and also I need to get it all underneath that rocker panel. So that's why I picked up the car. And yep, so let's get ready to start masking taping all of the windows, all of the trim, the wheels, and we'll see if I'm gonna be using that frame right there. We'll see. Alright guys, so the whole car is already sanded. I'm about to do some dents, like some body work, and as you guys can see, this is where we're at, 320 the whole car. I'm about to take care of the dents, and let's do that. You guys see that? All this is paint that is peeling off because this is a trim, the trim that goes in the middle of the door. And this is a common problem with like cheap paint jobs. It's that they don't really like sand like these areas too good. They don't want to damage like the pieces, and they don't want to risk it. So what they do, they just lightly sand it, and this is what happened after like years, right? So for me, it's gonna be a hard like thing to do right now, because the task is to sand this and fade it. Give it a nice fade with this paint to the paint that's on the bottom, so I can get a nice fade. And then I'm gonna have to primer there, and yeah, so pretty much the whole trim is like that, so you guys can see that. So it's a hard line there, and we don't want that in the paint job, same in the bottom. So this is gonna take a little while to do, but I had to do it. Alright guys, so let's take care of it. Alright, so what we're gonna do, this is 180, and we're gonna be sanding it by hand first. We wanted to break all that stuff that's just flaking. In this case, I'm going to be using a screwdriver. You see that? Obviously, we don't want that for the new paint. And painting over this will be just horrible. So let's do it, especially in this driver door. You know, the driver uses, or this is the door that gets used the most. So you always wanted to pay attention on at least that. So let's do it. Like I said, 180. Now, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the fade is better on it. But because I'm sanding in one area, and I'm going like this, I'm making a groove here. So I need to count for that. So later on, when I'm sanding this panel, I had to make the fade coming from up here pretty much down to here. So it's more like a nicer fade and leveling all of the materials that are here. And then on top of it, I'm going to primer, and then the primer will give me a better you know, surface, more level. And like I said, this car is going to be black, so everything will show. And I'm not trying to make it like showroom, but definitely I'm not going to make it look like I just paint over all this stuff that it's on the car. This is one of the techniques I use for this kind of work. It's just in the spreader, spatula for body filler, And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go there so you guys can see it. And this thing is flexible, so what I can do, I can work it. You guys can see that. So this is 180, right? And because of the way I'm doing it, the way I'm sanding it, it has a better like leveling, I would say. And that way I don't have, I'm not making like a hard line by just sanding with my finger. I can even go flatter on it, right? Right, and this technique pretty much will work for whatever grade you want. You know, like could be like up to like 1000, 1200, whatever. All you need is just to stick it to something like this, and then it will work. This area is, like I say, they peel off that easy just because it's hard to get in there without taking the trim, right? But you can actually accomplish something cool with doing this by taping the trim really good and sanding you know, a little behind it the most you can. If you can do that, then the paint will look like if you really took that trim piece off. This is where like low quality paint jobs can differentiate and details like this. So I'm doing this pretty much. I trade some stuff for my car for this work, so I'm not like charging money or anything like that. So this is kind of like a mutual deal that we did, me and a friend of mine. So yeah, so I'm gonna be painting his car, and yeah, but I just don't want to do like a crappy job, and I just wanted to show you guys how to do it. So if you guys wanted to do it, you guys can learn from here. Okay, so this is another technique I'm gonna be using. So this is guide code in powder. Shake it, powder transfer there, and then you do this, and we're gonna do this to the whole car. Like I said, this car right now has 320, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put guide code throughout the whole car, and I'm gonna be blocking it with a wood block. This thing is super straight, you guys can see that. So the idea behind will be sand that, and that will let me know, you know, whoop, you guys see that? That will show me where is the low spots, because I'm going to be fixing some dent. So that's the way I'm going to be finding dents, with guide code 320 and that wood block. Let's do this, and I'll show you guys how to do it. Alright, so you guys can see the whole car has guide code, and now I'm going to block it, and let's see how that goes. Alright, so the technique is going to be sanding in zigzag. Never in one single spot, always moving different directions or patterns. It's in a cross pattern actually, the way you want it to move. If you have body lines like that, you don't want to go over like that, trying to avoid them, and just take a specific time to address those areas. As you guys can see, this area goes up, so what I do, kind of like just bring it out You don't want it to stay there or like this. Right? So now, if you guys can see here, the whole color of this area had changed. It's an even color. It's back to that regular gray, and it's an even color, so which pretty much means that there's no dents here. So I'm gonna continue in doing this whole hood. Let's see how many dents we get out of this. As you guys can see, I rotated the block. It's pretty much just, you know, what floats better as you sand it, pretty much. You don't want to do hard lines. You don't want to stay in one place. All this is just to ensure that there's no dents on the car. And if there's any, we're going to take care of that. Some areas we might cut all the way through the metal, but you're going to put primer on those areas, so no big deal. Alright, so this is pretty much if you just want to paint over the original paint you have on your car. I'm going to be using a single stage paint, right? And that's pretty much what it's an industrial paint. This paint is like more durable. It has paint and clear mixed together, so it's thicker, and that's used on like pretty much semis and like construction equipment and things like that, industrial. So this is why I'm painting this car with that paint, because that paint can lay down pretty much even on bare metal, but we're just gonna lay it down over this like whatever paints are on this car with some primer on the areas that are exposed, and we'll see. So like I said, this area right here, I'm taking my own time. As you guys can see, I have a different angle because this is a different angle, and I'm just sanding this area and not really going over the other panel, and then I can go up and just close those lines. So now I know that this whole area, it's nice and crispy. No dents so far. So half of this hood, it's in perfect condition pretty much. Or a quarter of it. Just still need to do the center of it. But same area. Oh, wait a minute. We got a big one. Have a dent about this big, and when they're about this big, that means that you need bundle about this much, unless you pull out the dent. But I'm not going to pull it out. That will require a whole bunch of other different things. What I'm just going to do is just fill it out with bundle. So we have a big dent right here. It's pretty big. You can feel it. I don't know if you guys never seen people going like this, trying to figure out how or where the dents are. I don't know if you guys can see how my fingers go down as I go on the dent. It's a feeling that you develop on your hands after a while. But guide coat is really good if you don't have that sensitivity on your hand. You can find dents just by the guide coat, which is right here. This whole dent is showing me there. But the rest of this half of the hood is pretty good, so yeah, that's good. Alright, so we got a dent here that we know of. This car is pretty small, so doing this blocking would take me about like a couple hours, I would say, to do it the right way. Alright, we found our dent. Here's one. I don't know if you guys can see the difference in the color. There's one right here. One right here. You guys can see the difference in the color. There's one right here. And over here too. Right here. It's a big one. Obviously here, it's pretty obvious. And one tiny one right here. And besides that, it's all like stray. And let's put some bundle. Alright, now that we have all those dents located, we're gonna start prepping the areas. I'm gonna be grinding all this rust off and all this paint off, and I'm gonna try to like dolly and hammer this corner. All the other areas, I'm just gonna sand the whole area with 80 grit, and I'm just gonna be putting U-Pull lightweight gold body filler. This is like a really good filler. The car doesn't need that much, so that should be good. So yep, we have this thing pretty much ready for some body work. I don't know if you guys can see that dent. It's ready to be fit. Saying there's a couple of low spots here, another one about right here, same right here, and the one right here. So let's do some damage. Alright, one thing I like to do is to put pieces of tape where the dents are, so that way I don't miss any, because it can happen. See, every area that has a dent has some tape, so that way I don't forget. Start from here, my way all the way around. Alright, now that we have a good color for it, let's go upwards. Let's go upwards. Okay. Now over here, like this. Other ones. I'm gonna build a little bit thick and high. So I'm gonna be using the cheese grinder for the rest. I got a little bit of bundle to do here, a little bit here, a little bit here, and a whole bunch here. Let's do it. Alright, I'm done. Then I got a little bit here, here. Let's see. we got it. All right. This bundle is just perfect right now for cheese grater. Let's use it. Oops. Wrong way. Here we go. So you guys can see, I'm just letting the tool work. I'm not really pushing it. I'm just trying to kill all of the uneven spots, pretty much high spots. I'm not pushing hard because then you can create delamination, which means like you will bring the bundle from where it's stuck, right? This is just to kill all of the high spots and just bring them down to pretty much an even surface, so even. But like I said, it's not to like go crazy and shape the piece yet. You probably could after the second coat. What happens, you have to lay the body filler to make like a chemical bond to the panel. There's like a chemical connection that happens there that makes the body filler to stick really good to the panel. But right now it's not dry enough yet for it to be like that. So if you're trying to pull hard on it, you're just gonna be janking on it, bringing big chunks of it. So, you know, we don't want to do that. We don't want to make the body filler weak, if it makes sense. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I put a piece of paper because this bumper right here, you know, still has the original color, and we don't want to mess it up. So same thing, I'm going to be putting primer afterwards. So we want that, right? I don't know if you guys can see now I'm being a little bit heavier on it, just because I know that it's just getting harder as it goes. The sun is hitting it, so it's like pretty hard. So I'm just gonna let it sit for now. I think I'm pretty happy with like all my how level it is right now. And yeah, I'm gonna go with 80 grit after this. I'm gonna try to shape it. I'm gonna go with guide code and see if there's any low spots. If there's any low spots, we'll fill them up with more body filler, and then we should be golden. Good thing to point out right here, it's the this little spatula. That's what I use for this corner piece, and it's just because it's a low area and this is really flexible. I can flex it. So usually, let's say there's a dent about right here. With a spatula like this, you can actually like blow it like this. So you make a high spot where the dent will be, and that's the way how you can use this, you know. But in this case, I have a bigger area, and the dent it's about this big, right? So we need a long, flat spatula. So when we apply in our bondo, it covers a bigger area and it's more flatter than if you're using this and you're trying to do several ones. And because it's so flexible, right, you can just make it worse. So one or two couple of wipes with this and it should cover the whole area. So it's good to have a different spatulas on hand. Alright, so it has some cardboard filler, hardener. I'm going to be using this small spatula just to mix it, just because it's smaller and flexible. So some people don't like to use cardboard to do their bondo, right? And I get why. I guess, you know, it just sucks all the hardener and all the solvents in it. But I mean, I don't see why not either. You know, I see the two sides, but I don't think it affects it enough to like where, you know, it's not usable. So we mix it good. We want all of it to be one single color evenly, right? I'll make that a lot more this time because this area, like I said, is pretty big, right? So I think we're good on that one. Put this one away. Let's give it a couple ones with this one. And here we go. See, loaded up good. And there we go. There we go. As crazy as it looks, a little dent like that, that's how much it requires about. And I'm still kind of short. Obviously the right way to do is to pull the dent, but we're not doing that here right now. We're just filling them up, right? The reason why I'm putting so much bundle and what's for so wide open, remember this whole car it's sanded, so like whatever it's landing good. Plus I sand the surrounding area with 80 grit, so the important areas are covered with good. There we go. So we're just gonna leave that there, and we come back with the cheese grinder and work it. And now it's pretty hard, but not hard enough, like I said, to pull hard. So we're gonna start like trying to shape it, and we'll see how that goes. Still soft, still pretty soft. Let's do it this way. So I don't know if you guys can see, but all this area is starting to showing like the metal, which means this starting to be a high spot. And all right here, I haven't even touched this bond. You can see this, so which means this whole area is still low. So we're gonna have to put more bundle over this. You know, don't even bother and keep going if you see stuff like this. Just fill up more bundle and then just keep going. This area looks okay. And yeah, so pretty much will be the same process for the rest. So let's just focus on getting them done. Alright guys, so I already took care of all the dents. There was a dent here, then right there you guys can see there's primer. The ones that were here, this big one, you guys can see the primer still kind of fresh in that area. That has been fixed. This corner has been fixed. Another one here, and the two little ones that were over here. I didn't show you guys, but there was another three, like in this like bottom lip. There's one right here and another one on the other side, and that one right there in the middle. They all three are fits. And yeah, so I'm pretty sure I'll be painting. So I have all these things done, and now really getting ready this car to be taped up and get this whole area ready to be sprayed tomorrow morning. Alright guys, we're getting closer now. As you guys can see, I'm using the portable garage frame from Harbor Freight. Doesn't have like the original cover, and I'm just using some thin plastic just to keep the debris away. It's almost enclosure. I don't want to like close the whole area, because then it will be no ventilation here, and we don't want the overspray to land on the car again. And also, you know, I need like fresh air so I can breathe. And so yeah, so the car has primer all the areas where we did the bondo, and now I'm ready to start taping everything. We're not doing the door jambs, we're just doing the outside of the car. So all the emblems, all the trims, all of that good stuff needs to be taped up. Let's do that. After that, we're gonna wet the whole floor, and then just get our things ready and start spraying. Alright guys. Alright guys, so now we have the car all taped out. Alright guys, so now we have the car all ready and taped. I'm ready to wet the floor, right? And let's get ready to paint this thing. Before I even paint, first I'm gonna wet the floor, right? And then next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna clean the whole car with paint prep, and then we'll be spraying paint soon. Alright guys, and for the paint we're gonna be using Nason. It's a black single stage. This paint is from eBay, about the whole gallon for about $130. I'm going to be painting this Honda, and I painted a G35 with this same gallon, so it's pretty much good enough for 2 cars. So if you guys want to see how to mix this, please go to my other video where I'm showing how to paint the G35, or at the end of this video I'm going to have a link where you can just go and see the information on how to mix this. Okay, good paint. Alright guys, floor is wet, compressor is building up air, ready to shoot.